Boys, my name is hi-rez Kelly, and I'm joined by Adonis and Aurora this time instead of Dee and Brandon. Gentlemen, that last set.
Last set was...
What did you guys think? Did you think Paradigm was going to take it 3-1?
Not me. That was crazy. I can't believe they took the set. It was awesome.
You thought it was going to be Titan?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be Titan for sure, actually. But Paradigm's really surprised me this tournament.
I think they've really surprised everyone, maybe even themselves. They 3-1 Cloudano. They did have, not their full roster. They did manage to win once Barracuda came in as well, though. And then they came out in 3-1 Titan. And Titan looked solid. It didn't look like Titan was weak, and they just
not
got
at all.
rolled over. Every game was pretty intense and pretty close.
So what would you say, before we get into the next set, gave Paradigm the advantage?
I'd say they were just more prepared in the picks and bans phase. They got Ratatosker twice when they won with it.
Yep.
And then after that, Titan first picked it, but they seemed to have its number. They seemed to have a plan going forward against it.
I feel like Trix played really well too. His get play usually doesn't show up, but this tournament it's been phenomenal.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah.
So that was an amazing set,
Really
and
good.
Paradigm is going off to face the winner of this game, which is going to be AFK versus TSM. And personally, I think this is going to be an amazing set.
I think AFK are the clear favorites in this tournament. I mean, they won the spring finals. They dominated the North American scene. They dropped 2 games, one to Allied not showing up because, he wants his beauty rest. I mean, Allied's got pretty nice hair, to be fair. And then another was it was actually funny, the first game of the summer split, they actually dropped to Team SoloMid, fresh off their spring finals victory. Beat them after that, and really they've made a run ever since.
Yeah, that first game was really close. I'm really excited to see how Cyclone Spin plays today. I wonder what gods he's going to choose. He can pull anything out.
TSM had kind of a similar story to what AFK has right now in Season 1, where they dominated the LANs, they dominated the weekly scene, and then towards the World Championships, they kind of seemed to fall off. Do you think that maybe AFK is going to go through the same course of action? Do you think that maybe they're going to get a little cocky or maybe a little overconfident?
Sometimes it's not really being cocky or overconfident. And it's funny, actually, because I was talking to Weekend in the back there. They had been scrimming Titan, and he told me, he said, if we had to face Titan without scrimming them, there's a strong chance they would have lost. They are not cocky. They recognize that they can fall. Just because they've been winning doesn't mean they'll keep winning. And you take a look at Cog Red, it's easy. I don't want to say it's easy. Getting to the top is easier than staying on the top, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Staying on the top is very hard to do. Getting to the top is much easier.
Okay, so out of these two teams, AFK and TSM, where do you think maybe, I don't want to say the star player because everyone's a star player on these teams, right? But who do you think we should really look out for on TSM?
Snoopy for sure. Snoopy had a crazy day yesterday. That last game, his positioning, I wouldn't call it perfect, but he kept coming in and cleaning up the fights, and he was just getting all the kills and hitting all his auto attacks, which was really strong.
Adonis, do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he played Rom the last 3 games, the 3 games they won. And it just seems like, we always talk about all these people are like really good at sniping on Rom, but Snoopy seems to be the one who is actually always on point. It's not like, okay, this person showed up for the game. Snoopy is always hitting them, and he's always hitting all 3, which does a lot of damage. I mean, it's a very hard skill to hit, and it can change team fights that you might be losing.
Yeah, I remember I was casting the games yesterday,
Yes.
actually, and we were like, oh my god, Snoopy hit another shot, and he was up in the air one time, and he wasn't going to get any kills, but he still hit all 3 shots, like, almost max range. He's just really good at Rama snipes.
Do you think that his ROM snipes or just his ROM in general is such a threat that we're going to see a ROM ban?
It really seems that, I don't know about ban,
No.
at least not in the first phase, maybe in the second if they want to counter it.
I don't think hunters are worth banning right now at all.
Really? Why is that?
Jungle and guardian, like jungle and supports are mainly where you want to ban. They really control the pace of the game, and you want to have a good pace so you can make it to the late game, which really counts. Hunters show up in the late game, but if you can't make it there, then the hunters are really not as potent as the other 2 roles.
If you're banning hunters, it's almost like you're saying, well, they're going to make it to late game against us. We're not going to steamroll through them.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of all the hunters that we've seen this weekend, who would you ban out for?
Out of all the hunters here,
Yeah,
I
who
wouldn't
would you
ban
make
out.
a respect ban for?
Maybe Freya, but other than that, probably
worth it.
not worth it. Not even Freya, I would say.
Okay, so we talked about TSM. Now, who's the player to watch in AFK?
I mean,
Well, everybody's probably spamming Volcania right now as we speak in chat.
you're killing Twitch chat. You just, if they weren't already, they're definitely spamming Volcania now. I mean, Cyclone Spin, he was the MVP for the North American region in a dominating fashion. I mean, Incon was very close, but Cyclone Spin is the flashy playmaker. But it's not just like he is the flashy playmaker. He's the flashy playmaker because he's always consistent at it. his team puts a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on him to show up and clean up. Because if they don't clean up, their team comps normally
That's
don't
their
work.
win condition, pretty much. Yes. Cyclone Spin is AFK's win condition, but he's so good at it and so consistent at it, like you said, that they always do so well. But you have to look at everybody else in AFK because they put so much support for him, and they make it easier for him to do that.
So would you say that the team almost is built around him? And I don't want to compare this to Eager, where Zapman would go in, make a really crazy play, and people would have to almost defend him and back him up. Would you say that it's a similar comparison?
It's more, similar to old Dignitas back when they had Shadowq and Best. Now it's more of Dare to Care, Lazarus, and Zap coming in more of the late game for Eager. But Cyclone Spin I guess Cyclone Spin comes into the mid-game fights. He's probably the best solo laner that rotates.
I think he's the best rotator in the fight, and from the solo lane.
Maybe even general, too, from any lane. He just rotates so well, and his patience is key to those rotations. Like, he won't show himself until he has to, and that's what people don't have out of any other solo laners.
Is the patience.
Yeah.
And it's really important to have that patience note, because sometimes it's like a fight breaks out, and you want to go in, you want to help your team, but it may not be time. Sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes you have to honestly let your team die.
Especially on Assassins and Mages, yeah.
And that's the thing is, Cyclone Spin lets his team die, but not in a negative way. It's so he can go in at the perfect moment and clean up.
So I know back in Season 1, solo lane was called Solo Island, and there really wasn't too many rotations unless you played someone like Janice. Would you say that with the meta changes to Season 2, that we see a lot more rotations from everyone?
Well, I feel like it's not even the meta changes from Season 2. It's just Cyclone changing the meta himself.
It's true.
Yeah, back on the chunks, like, I played with him personally. He would rotate all the time because our dual lane was weaker compared to the other ones, but the games we won, he would come over and rotate, and we'd win fights with him.
It's one thing to... The idea of Solo Island is that if one solo laner rotated, the enemy team would just back off, and they wouldn't force fights, and your solo laner would push, get the tower, and out farm. But Cyclone Spin doesn't allow that to happen. He rotates knowing that the other team's out of position, that he can catch up and force fights, or at the very least, that Weekend will go in, start a fight, and keep them engaged until Cyclone Spin can make it there.
Yeah, one thing that his team does really well is they feed him information, so he knows what's going on in the team fights. So when he looks at the minimap, when he looks at the map, he knows when to rotate and when he's going to get kills. So his teammates do a really good job at feeding him info.
Is that a really big advantage to AFKs, that they have really good communication?
It's, I think, key. I mean,
all the top teams have really good communication.
Would you say that AFK has the best, though?
It's hard to say because all teams communicate differently. So you can't really... I guess it's the most consistent because they've been playing so well, but I don't know if it's the best.
It's definitely strong, and the Curse Voice listen-ins actually do paint a pretty good picture, and you can tell sometimes when we see comebacks, we'll go into a Curse Voice listen-in, and sometimes it's a losing team, and if they have an upbeat attitude, a lot of times you'll see swings. Take a look at Paradigm in Game 1 versus Titan. They were losing clearly. They were down like 20k gold, like 10, 15 kills. They're like, we got this, boys, late game. I mean, they had all they were done, but they kept the upbeat attitude, and that's what's most important too. Is the morale on the team and the morale in the comms. You don't sit on the negatives like you were out of position all the time. It's like, man, that sucks. Let's look out for it next time. Let's make sure we it's just keeping a positive attitude in the communications.
Well, what about TSM? Where do you guys think that they really thrive against all the other teams? Because before they were the #1 seeded team back in Season 1, and they've dropped. I wouldn't say dropped down to being number 3 is bad, right? That you're still one of the top teams in the world. But what really happened to them?
They're all really well mechanically, but I feel like their win condition most of the time is Snoopy. Garz is really good at getting him to the late game. Boosh does a ton of damage. He likes to steal kills, as we all can see with his auto attacks. But Snoopy usually wins their team fights. I don't think he's as consistent as Cyclone, but he's still very, very consistent. They're the top 3 for NA, so he's really strong.
I'd say when Cog Red, now Team SoloMid, was actually dominating in Season 1 is when I'd say individually, or at least their lane matchups, were just far superior to everyone else. No one was used to playing against that aggressive playstyle where their mechanics were clearly better, and I think most of North America and even Europe has caught up to how good they were.
So they haven't gotten worse, just everyone else has adapted.
Sure. And I think they've probably even gotten better themselves if you talk to them over the time, but their core was really strong, and I feel like the core back in Season 1 meant more, and the core is the support, jungle, and mid. So that just kind of fell off a little bit going into Season 2. It's still there at full force, but it's just not as much as Season 1.
Well, the story's a little bit of the opposite for AFK, where they were the third, fourth seeded team in North America, and they didn't even make it to the World
No,
Championships.
they didn't.
No.
They just
So-
fell short.
What changes happened to them coming into Season 2?
It was Cyclone Spin.
Cyclone Spin.
They picked up Cyclone Spin. They picked up an All-Star. And not only did they pick up that, but they also adapted their play style. I wouldn't say they're built around Cyclone Spin. I'd say they more developed into playing around Cyclone
Yeah.
Spin.
Okay.
Because Weekend,
Another-
he used to be
go
the
ahead.
Circuit Arachne guy. I mean, his icon is Circuit
Yeah.
on his Twitch page. He's not allowed to play those gods anymore. Like, I don't think his team lets him. I don't think he lets himself because he knows he can play these frontline gods and really switch it up, and it helps his team succeed.
Yeah, another thing is that Kiki swapped to
Yes,
mid,
yes.
which is a big thing. He's been playing mid fantastically. He is the most unselfish player that I've ever played with and that I've ever watched play Smite. And to have somebody like that on your team is huge. He'll always give up farm for you no matter what role you are. He's like, "Oh, you want some farming con? You can have my entire wave," and he doesn't even care
Yeah,
as long as you make the late game.
You do have experience with him on your team as well as Cyclone Spin.
Yeah.
It's nice having someone that's like been on every team and knows all these players personally. I guess you're kind of on the same boat too.
Yeah, it was kind of a couple years ago, though.
No, but he was a feeder.
So, something that we just saw.
It's true.
I was too though, and we only went 6-14.
Fourth place, boys.
Aw. So, sorry, don't mean to cut you off. But something that's really exciting that's coming up is that we're going to be at Gamescom, and we're actually having the kickoff LAN there, where it's going to be the two teams that are playing the first two games for the EU fall split. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's going to be Titan versus Fnatic live at Gamescom, and it's going to be pretty exciting. We did the same thing for North America, where we brought in AFK and Cloud9 at the end of the summer split. Now to introduce the fall split, we're having a LAN live at Gamescom, so if you're there, be sure to check us out. It's going to be pretty exciting. You know, both those teams, they're eliminated today, but they're still top contenders in Europe. It's going to be a close one.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Titan and Fnatic, who are you going to give it to?
Oh, I don't know.
What do you mean you
let's
don't
stick to the
know?
LAN. I don't
It's
know.
like-
That's so far away.
It's like a week and a
I
half.
don't know. I'll say 1-1. I'll be
You'll be
easy.
that guy.
I'll be that guy.
Yeah, 1-1.
Oh.
1-1.
You guys are no fun. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the picks and bans predictions that we're going to see.
Okay.
For support, it seems like it's been pretty consistent. We've seen a lot of Bologna actually support. Do you think we're going to see that again here?
It seems to be mostly Europe more than anything,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
it is a possibility, especially since AFK had been playing against it, I think, in scrims. But it was really that Paradigm Fnatic
Yeah.
group that has been picking it up.
For
I don't know
sure.
if you've really seen it at all.
Yeah, I got to cast the Paradigm and Fnatic set on day one, and that's when it was mostly shown. So it wasn't really successful against TSM. I think it worked better against Cloud9 because nobody's ever seen it before. Like, I was talking to Divios, and I was like, "Did the Bologna support surprise you?" And he was like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, did it surprise you when they played against Cloud9?" He's like, "Oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting that at all." So after seeing it, I feel like it's not going to be as effective. They might try to pull it out again, but we'll just have to wait and see.
I have a quick question for you. So we've really seen Athena fall off. Why exactly is she not being prioritized anymore in the support role?
She's really easy to pick off, and at LAN, I guess people are maybe afraid of dying. I don't know, though. It could be just what team comps people are practicing. Geb's like just really safe, and he's really good late game, and a lot of these games are going late. So if they're going late, you want Geb on your team over
That
any other
Athena
Guardian.
taunt is so strong.
Yeah, but then you have a Geb shield, and then it's
Right,
gone.
which is even stronger.
Yeah.
So you guys think we're not going to see any Athena? We're probably just going to see Geb and maybe not even
We'll
Bologna?
probably see Athena, but it just may not.
Yeah, we'll probably see Athena. I wouldn't be surprised. Inca, I know, plays it, but I don't know he'll pull it out in the finals. So
What about mid lane? We saw
Isis.
Scylla, which
ISIS
was...
for sure.
We've seen a lot of ISIS bans, which is surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, ISIS, people had started to realize in the summer split that ISIS is
Yeah.
very strong, and the pressure she puts out, you know, you mentioned all the time, you know, the core mid support and jungle control the early pace of the game.
That's right.
And there's no mid who really puts out as much
Yeah.
pressure as ISIS.
she's just CC on demand. Like, you silence, spirit ball, stun. and she just has really good mobility, and she has the damage reduction with her ult. So she's
I mean,
really
you were saying
strong.
with Kiki that he likes to play a very supportive mid laner. Do you think that he's going to be picking up Isis, who is a
Yeah,
pretty
he
good
could.
support mid?
He can definitely play mid laners that are not supportive, but he's just I would not call him more supportive. I would just call him unselfish more than a supportive mid laner. He's just a really unselfish player.
Typically, we're seeing him pick up Isis if it's available.
Yes,
but
for sure.
it may not be their first pick. It's normally in the first half of their picking phase, though. If it's up, I don't see AFK not taking it.
Okay.
But if it's gone, they'll generally pick up Nuwa, and then it's I really want to spin a ban on Isis and Nuwa as a team. And with so many gods like Ao Kuang, Ratatoskr, Sylvanas, being up there and being so prominent, it's coming down to it. No.
And who knows? We might see some oddball picks. Like he pulled out Athena at the last line against TSM.
Fenrir as well.
Yeah,
He's played that.
so we'll just have to wait and see.
What about for Boosh?
Boosh plays whatever he wants.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like
for him?
Boosh is just like, I feel like playing this today.
His Agni was probably the best.
Oh, that was
for
such a
this
good
land.
Agni.
Yeah.
His season 1 Agni was phenomenal as well, but he almost never played it. He was playing Raw 11 out of the 20 games, and when it was started to get banned, he played Agni. And he was actually playing Blink Agni before Blink was big in the summer split. I mean, that's something he's very comfortable with and that he's very dominating with.
What about the solo lane? I know that Warriors have kind of fallen off a little bit, and we see more mages over there now. Do you think that we're going to see, I mean, obviously Warriors not including Bologna, but what do you think we're going to see over in the solo lane?
Well, it's Divios, so we can see Hercules for sure.
That's right.
Maybe even Tyr. Tyr hasn't been played this patch.
That's a little surprising, because normally Tyr does very well on land.
Yeah, I think everybody's like Tyr sucks. I think he's still like pretty good.
Why do people say that?
Yeah, I have no idea actually. I feel like
they're just dumb. I don't know, man.
He's okay. He's not the best, obviously, but I feel like he's a pretty solid pick still.
What about you? What do you think we're going to see in the solo lane?
I do. What I want to say is what we're not going to see in the solo lane, and we're not going to see Ao Kuang allowed for AFK.
Gotta get banned out.
Also, Ratatasker is probably going to be banned out.
I think both of them.
Divios and Cyclone have great Ratataskers, so we'll probably see it banned in the pick ban.
And basically, that's meaning both of those gods. It's almost like first pick is kind of, or second pick is kind of getting a little screwed here.
Yeah.
Both these teams prefer second pick, but you're going to have to ban Ratatoskr and Ao Kuang almost.
Any other auto bans?
Maybe Fenrir. Fenrir's
Janice?
been really popular. I know it's going off of yesterday's games for Team SoloMid. It was Gar's go-to jungler, even over Thor. So,
He picked Thor the first 2 games, and then he got Fenrir the second 2 games. It's something he's definitely.
But he's
looking to
known as
prioritize.
Thorgars. What happened?
People, I mean,
Thor hasn't fallen off.
Everyone plays against Thor all the time, every game.
well, I also feel like Guardians do really well against Thor, so that
true.
also hurt Thor a lot. Yeah.
Now that they're rotating.
All right, gentlemen, before we throw it to the casters, who do you give it to? Numbers included.
Game 1 is AFK. I'm just going to say game 1.
Okay.
AFK 3-0.
3-0 AFK. Are you going to say 3-0 AFK?
I think it'll be 3-1 AFK.
Okay, well, we're about to find out now, but before we do, we're going to go to our casters.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the caster desk for the second time today. Sorry, third actually. Semi-final number 2 underway, and it's all North America. Powered by Curse Voice. Alongside me today is the wonderful Jeff, the Manhandler, and his good friend. I'm not going to say that. It's rude. It's rude.
It's also rude insinuating that me and Jeff are friends.
And his good friend, DM Brandon.
So we got AFK coming up against Team SoloMid in a battle that I think everyone was very excited to see.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought that Fnatic might be able to make it through, but TSM looked very strong yesterday, especially towards the second half of Game 2, where things really started to click for TSM, and they look like the Season 1 TSM that we knew them to be.
I think the biggest issue, honestly, though, is that did TSM give everything away? Do you reckon that would have been happening yesterday, Jeff? Is that TSM gave away a lot of what their strategies were going to be against Fnatic?
I don't think so. I think TSM was adapting to Fnatic, not necessarily showing what they had.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, between those two teams as well, going into this AFK and TSM, TSM do have the winning record on paper. 10 wins to TSM, 7 to AFK. So it brings out the possibility that if AFK 3-0 this, they're going to be tied.
Which would be pretty cool. I'm really looking at Divios here. Obviously has been known for a long time as one of the best players in North America, was considered the best player in the world until Little Cyclone Spin came out of nowhere and took that title away.
Talking about those two, Cyclone, first in kills, first in deaths. Sorry, first in deaths is in lowest deaths.
Right.
First in assists, highest GPM in the solo lane across NA and EU. Devios? Wait, let me finish. Devios.
Okay.
Kills, 10th. Deaths, 8th. Assists, 6th.
Oh my god.
GPM, 4th.
Right,
Big
but
change.
we need to remember that the meta has recently changed, and the shift favors Divios more than it favors Cyclone Spin.
Well, we're into picks and bans now, so let's find out exactly if this shift is going to favor them. Geb, banned out by AFK, out Kwong in response by TSM.
I think this is going to be Ymir as well. AFK knows that Ionic is probably the player to hit here. If they take a lot of his comfort picks away, Ionic might have to maybe change his strategy up a little bit, but he does still have that Sobek. I know Jeff has a lot of practice.
You know why that Fenrir pick is that ban is there? Is because that leaves Ratatoska on the table. Ratatoska has issues against Fenrir, and AFK talk about that quite a lot.
That means Ymir and Bologna will both be open if Team SoloMid leaves open Ratatosker. Or rather, bans Ratatosker.
I love the Geb and the Fen bans, honestly. It seems like AFK has, been watching TSM play. Geb's a great character.
And there is the Ratatoska ban. Kind of feeding into it. Almost like AFK knew that we'll see the Ratatoska ban if they ban the Fenrir away.
So Bologna and Ymir are probably the two big pickups for this LAN that are still available. Isis, of course, available as well. We know that Kiki loves it, but it's going to be Athena.
Athena, not the best record so far this tournament. I mean, you played it early day one, and then as well we saw
How did
the
that
boys...
go, Jeff?
We didn't win.
You know what?
What are you
We'll
here?
probably poke at it, but you guys played amazing under the circumstances.
really
For real. Everyone in the chat, raise some kappas for Jeff.
Big shout out as well to Mackie for stepping in the last minute. He performed well both times. Hey, when he played solo lane, he didn't give away the lane to Zaylee for free. Sorry, not to Zaylee, to Maniac for free.
Right.
So it was to Zaylee, to Zaylee for free. And then on top of that, he switched to the Hunter role today. Fantastic play as well.
Bologna going to be locked in here. I imagine we're going to see a Ymir as well. No, Sylvanas. This character has not seen as much light as we thought he would. I think at one point getting picked like 9th or 8th.
Yeah, really low down the list.
I love the Sylvanas pick. Obviously, Sylvanas is just one of the best supports.
I mean, on top of that, Ionic did quote him. There's a quote from Ionic saying that if Sylvanas is available, give me Sylvanas every single game. And he continues doing that strategy time and time again. We saw when we saw TSM face off against Fnatic, there was a lot of bans against Paradigm. Sorry, against Geb that there was a big focus on, trying to take away Ionic's Geb. I mean, we know he's got a very good Geb.
Did you see that little pray hands, by the way, that Incon just did? He looks very nervous. Opwash. Now, this is going to be for Kiki. Now, for me, this could be dangerous because Opwash is a boy.
That's a good point, Brandon. Great point. Great analysis there.
You know what? Everyone thinks it's a joke. He only plays girls.
He's played Poseidon.
Right, and he loses generally with Poseidon.
But he likes little girls.
Wait, no, what?
In the law?
Whoa.
Check out the law on Poseidon. That's exactly what I mean. Anyway,
Hey, Medusa got picked.
AFK, Medusa gets picked through, and the major look combo happens.
That's right. We have the Athena Medusa lane here. Jeff, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you not want to face that?
It's like a 9. It's pretty up there.
Is there anything worse?
Ymir Cupid, maybe?
Really?
Level 5 is just as bad.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's but really what it is if you have Athena Medusa, their wave clear is insane, and they're one of the comps that are very strong in lane. They have a good level 5 because you just guarantee the Medusa ult, and then Athena can just do whatever she wants.
Love the Odin ban coming out from TSM after taking the Thor pickup for Degars, as naturally expected. But Odin could have been put in the jungle there, Athena. But so potentially this Athena pick here, Weekend just before this tournament DM as well, he released a tier list for the jungle, and he's put Athena in the SS tier for the jungle. Do you reckon we could see him go there?
I mean, it's possible. Weekend's obviously Weekend loves playing that support type jungle. He's the best player at it in the world. Not saying that he's the best jungler. I would still probably give that to Andy. Maybe even Reppy, despite the fact that Cubo Fred had quite the day today.
That's true.
But Weekend's ability to play for what his team requires is incredible, and Athena brings a lot of that to the table. Great rotations with Defender of Olympus, obviously, but speaking of rotations here, Apollo for Snoopy. This is really smart. Jeff, you scrim against these guys all the time. Tell us a little bit about Snoopy's rotations.
Well, Snoopy's great on Apollo, and Snoopy's very good at finding points where you can't call the Apollo ult. Wait, maybe he's missing and then ults, right? He doesn't just ult out of lane.
Which is really smart.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it very hard to keep track of him.
It's quite surprising as well that we actually see AFK there banning away the Rama. After seeing it against Fnatic yesterday, Snoopy went off big yesterday. Not a surprise that they chose that over the Apollo.
Dude, his Rama yesterday.
Oh.
I was sitting with AFK and they're just like, Cyclone in his weird little monotone voice was like, oh, here comes the aimbot. And just like all 3 shots would hit. It's like, yep, look at that. Oh, God, I hope he doesn't do that. It's just a lot of that stuff.
Oh, the Thanatos pick is coming through from AFK here.
Okay.
Not seen him in the jungle today so far. So this tournament so far in a long time. And a Carly pickup as well. Solo?
I don't know where they're going. This is AFK. It's going to be Thanatos support, and we're going to have Athena in mid lane, and Opwash going to be the jungler.
So we're going to see, yeah, will it be, maybe it's Thanatos mid? Zero's running yesterday. Kiki on Thanatos?
Actually,
Kiki would take Kali.
Kiki to Kali mid. It's female.
Right, that's the
reason.
Thanks, Hindu,
I'm
man.
on you, buddy. I've got your back. I could go Athena.
Yeah, no,
She's
that's
also
true.
a woman,
We
just to be clear.
have seen him do
yes,
that.
we have.
We have seen him do it. Well, Agni's been locked in finally for TSM there. There's your lineups for the two teams. What do you expect Cyclone to be playing here, Jeff?
I'm going to expect the Kali.
Kali.
Yeah.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
On Baby. Although, like we've seen some laning as Thanatos is now. With Zeros yesterday.
Yeah.
Potentially see that.
Maybe
against a Bologna?
I'm going to go with the Kali.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now, I don't have the stat directly in front of me, but up until this point, it felt like Ymir was very close to 100% pick ban. Ymir completely makes it through this phase.
I actually think this is a lot of people have been saying that the cast has been talking about how Ymir is all EU. Well, I think it is really, like predominantly is for the most part, and then NA will transfer into picking and banning Ymir when they're up against the Europeans.
Well, similar to how I said before when you asked me about TSM giving away their strats, I think TSM was adapting to
Very good
how
point.
EU was playing. You know what I mean?
Epsilon's adapting.
Don't do that.
He didn't even get the
Don't
joke.
do that.
He-
NA don't watch EU games. What are you talking
Dude,
about?
it's true. MLC Stealth asked me who one of the mid
I
laners
know.
was.
I know. I
That's
know
at
the
the
NA
LAN.
guys. I know
That's
the
at
NA
the
guys.
LAN.
Who's that guy? Oh, okay.
I'm like, Lobster's been playing since 2012. Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, that guy. Yeah. Yeah, he died in ISIS. Yeah.
So obviously Weekend's going to be on Thanatos here. Looks like Incon's going to have Athena. Cyclone Spin, he's doing my build. Oh, I'm so excited. So he has full Ninja Tabby. It's
Right.
all 1,500 gold has been used. He's going to start at the blue buff. He's going to take it. He's going to go to lane. He's going to push one wave, and then he's going to back and get pots. It's so lame.
Okay, why is he going attack speed boots?
Because it's 1,500 gold exactly.
So that's just the only
it's
reason?
Only reason you can
The
build
reason to
it.
do
If
it for
Warrior
mobility.
Tabby was 15, you would do that instead.
Okay.
But this actually winds up allowing him to control the lane. Now, Divios, of course, is Bologna, one of the best matchups against Kali, of course, because he can stop the pressure with the disarm. The issue is that the block stacks that usually are a huge benefit is completely irrelevant against Kali because our attack chain is...
So fast.
What's the word? It's an expletive. Pretend I said it.
He said it.
Starts with a B.
We all heard it. And on top of that as well, we can see both the support starting with Watcher's Gift. It's going to be a normal sort of support lineup. I think with the EU guys, we saw a lot of Warriors coming out once again. But NA, we're going to go true, tried, tested, traditional, and now we've got
Guardians
Hog.
Watchers.
Guardians Watchers,
Hey.
let's go until our boots after, yeah?
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
so you'll notice Cyclone Spin's positioning on the bottom was very far down. Just in case they recognized that he didn't have a way to sustain through it, they would have invaded. But he stays away from the ward they placed down, probably because they did their homework. And he'll be able to go to the lane here, get a good push. And since they're doing double buff on top, Cyclone Spin will clear this wave for free, back and get somewhere between 3 and 4 potions.
I like the call from AFK Gaming here as well. They did back Harpies on the left-hand side as well, just to make sure that if we did see TSM do those mid Harpies at the beginning of the game, they should be relatively close in experience.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we don't have access to is the fact we don't know who Kali's target is. We can only assume, obviously, that it's one of the 5, depending on how much damage she does to one of the laners. You actually see her backing off.
Here we
and
go,
going
here we
further
go.
Back here.
I'm going to call it now because generally when you see Kali, it's always going to default to the Guardians. Let's go, it's on Sylvanas. Let's just guess that.
just
It's always the case, right?
Oh, God. And they're across the map. They're the hardest to kill.
And you're just like,
Oh,
well,
man.
not going to get the reset anytime soon.
But you see Kali leaving the base now. She has picked up, it looks like 4 potions total at
Okay.
2 and 2. This is it's just such a crazy strategy because it's so all in the beginning. But it's going to pay off. He has a lot of damage control in
pull
lane.
from Ionic there. Not going to be much follow-up though, but already Ionic firing those pulls early on. It's always nice when you get that first one.
It's great when you hit the early pulls, especially if you're hitting pulls without the roots. It's just like, I'm going to do this
It's a
to
mind
you
game.
every time. Exactly. You're always associating
Because now you're like,
dominance with
oh my god, what if he keeps doing this?
Yep.
Like, how am I going to deal with this? And there's no character in the game that gets in your head like Ratatoskr. But after that, it's Sylvanas.
Now, Outwash yesterday, we saw him get picked up a couple of times by
Yeah.
North America. EU didn't really touch it at all.
That's right.
We weren't comfortable with it quite clearly, but what we seem to see is that they didn't seem to have the enough peel to keep Outwash alive most of the time. Jeff, I mean, does this composition this time around seem a lot better for you for that?
It seems
With
a
the
little
con-
similar, but
yeah.
there's a lot of other high priority targets that
That's
aren't
true.
just Outposh, right? You want it, you don't want Kali to run free, you don't want Thanatos to run free. Same with Medusa, and it's hard to fight in the Medusa ult or the threat of Medusa ult as well.
So level 5 is going to be really dangerous here in the duo lane. Once Alad and Incon get to that point, it can be an instantaneous kill, especially on a character like Sylvanas. Nice juking, by the way, from Incon.
Yeah, it was nice.
I still love the shot taken by Yannick.
Showing that he's willing to expend the cooldown.
Yep.
That's
That just
really
keeps the threat on Incon the whole time of like, I've always got to watch my position. It also lets the enemy hunter know as well, like, hey, he's really looking for these poles the whole time. Got to be careful on my toes.
So right here in the solo lane, excuse me, both players are very close to level 5. Weekend going super deep here, looking for it. Cyclone Spin is likely to hit it first, but the activation of Scent of Death is going to put him in a weird spot. Nice disarm, stunned out of the shield dash. That should be first blood here. Weekend misses the death sight, but they're going to find it, and it is
It was a target! The bonus chance of that. Remember, on the left-hand side, though, Snoopy does find the kill onto Incon. I'm guessing Yannick found the pull there that he was looking for earlier on.
But remember, Kali getting first blood is
gold.
the most important thing in the game because there is a 25% gold bonus to anytime she kills the target. Having that be first blood means she gains even more.
Ching. She's very happy on the way to the bank with that one, especially after the build start as well. I mean, what's the build now that we're probably going to see out of Cyclone here? Yeah?
We're likely to see Executioner into Titan's Bane. I know that Cyclone Spin doesn't exactly love the Titan's Bane build. It's possible we'll see some variant. I doubt that we're going to see Chin Size too early on. Something we saw Cubo Fred do twice today. It generally does a little bit less damage overall than the Executioner, but obviously Cyclone is Cyclone, and whatever he's going to do is going to wind up being pretty beneficial.
Now, with the change as well to how the first bullet affects it and then the rest of the kills afterwards, it's very lucky for AFK Gaming that they just got that kill just before Snoopy found that one over in that solo in the duo lane.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Defi's Gauntlets probably would have been finished by now, and it changes the lane completely, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
I mean, even so, Jeff, I mean, he's at 2850 right now. He's got like 100 gold left. If you see that amount of gold on a hunter, what are you trying to do to stop him from backing?
You just bother him. You're looking to taunt him. You're looking to reach him. Reach is a great way to stop hunters from backing.
Reach, of course, being Athena's passive where she chucks Transcendent Spears for
It's trying to abuse it more than anything, isn't it? It's just push the wave in if you can, hit him on the back if possible, to keep him in lane as long as you can, just so your hunter can catch up. Especially when you're going Transcendence as well, because this is a build, like Alad was mentioning this today, Transcendence on Medusa is still very, very strong.
Clumsy, can we actually take a look at Bologna here? I want to see what she's leveling. Yeah, dude, she's leveling the disarm. I thought it was doing a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
I love leveling the disarm here because, as you saw earlier in the lane, every time Bologna would use her 2, Cyclone stuns it out. So
That's right.
you can never actually use that 2.
Really smart counterplay. Divios adapting very well to a matchup that he's not going to be super familiar with. We haven't seen a lot of Kali in the solo lane since ever.
A long, long time. I mean, take into account as well that the disarm, the more you max Scourge, the longer the disarm is, and you said it doesn't really factor in, but I think a 3-second disarm, that could take a while.
I mean, I was talking about if he was leveling the blood.
Yeah, exactly.
But of course, Divios being a step ahead of absolutely everyone switches up not only that, but it looks like it possibly could be the build. I'm interested to see if he's going to go into the Ickfall or go into the Runeforged or Frostbound Hammer, which might be a little more beneficial.
We did speak about the duo lane and how that first blood should have helped, that second kill for Snoopy should have put him ahead a bit. But if you notice, Allied got back to base first and started working that Transcendence earlier. Got a few bonus stacks ahead of this matchup. So he's got a bit of a power spike now until the Device Gauntlets get stacked.
That's true, but remember, he's not going to have any sustainability here. He has one more health potion. That's 250 health. Is that going to be enough? Obviously, Jeff, you're in the duo lane a lot. Tell us about the difference here.
It's definitely going to help Medusa. Medusa right now is on a big power spike. She just finished.
Oh, power spike indeed. There's a Petrify from Allied, though, into the ult. The Petrify hit both of them in the face. Thanatos dunks down from Weaken. And now the boy Ionic is in trouble, too.
Now, over in the right lane, switch over, because we see... no, actually,
we don't see nothing.
they abandoned. Gars, I thought he was going to go in for the kill. He's looking to try to control over in the left lane. Weaken going to get stunned out here, taking some damage. Eyes on Gars, completely off the mark. Oh, I think maybe he was looking at Agni there. Weaken silences it out.
That's it. He should be safe now. The Ham's got a few more seconds, 7 seconds to come back up. Good silence there to save the day.
Really, what I want to talk about is the very start of that. AFK played that perfectly. They got the Medusa ult. Incon waited to taunt until the Medusa ult was over, and then Weaken came in and cleaned it all up. That was beautiful.
How did he get the double Petrify off?
You can't look at him, man. My big issue is that I think there was a small misplay there by Allied because he stepped out of the range of Defender of Olympus.
Okay.
I guess position more than anything else. Because to be fair, if you fire a Petrify off, you don't expect to hit both of them with a stun, right?
You know what?
So
You're right.
in fairness, he had to back away then, and Allied was at least given, Incon was at least giving him protection.
He was probably like, wait, what?
Wait, what? I hit both of them? Incon's like, are you lit? When did you ever do that?
But Team SoloMid actually has an advantage. No, actually, it's going back and forth. The gold is dead even. Let's bring up the graphs. We haven't seen them yet. Yeah, 55 gold, 300 experience, dead even game. The issue is that AFK is getting on that gold on key targets. Early game Thanatos and getting it on Kali.
And here's the big issue is they want to focus his outpush so he doesn't get to this late game build, but Thanatos already been a threat early on. On top of they've got to deal with Cyclone on this Kali later on as well. Outpush could be the big backbone for Kiki here.
I think the players can hear us. Divios has gone away from the Ickfall and into Frostbound. I said he was going to do that, and I think we might have helped him. You're a prophet. No, I mean, honestly, Divios being brilliant, he's going to either look for the Rune Forge or the Frostbound Hammer here, both of which massively helpful. Massive health boosts or even defense gains. You could Frostbound Hammer reduce the attack speed of Kali, who's getting very low right now.
I mean, he's going to slow her down A, reduce the attack speed B, then he's got Scourge for the disarm for 3 seconds C. Cyclone's going to be a bit struggling here.
Yep. I am wondering who the target is now, because with the 2 deaths over in left lane, it's possible the RNG might have switched it back to Divios.
Well, he's one of the 3. Divios, Dagars, or it could be Bush in the mid lane. They're the 3 tugs. And to be fair, they're all squishy enough to bring down.
That's true. I mean, Gars has got to be very careful about rotating over. He doesn't know who the target is. And if he turns on him and Gars doesn't have a perfect initiate, it could wind up healing him back up to full, giving her the 1v2 double kill, which has been very famous for Kali players.
Now, Incon at the moment as well, he's got into a full weakening curse very, very early on. Is this a sign of full aggression here?
This is actually something you see Incon specifically do a lot. He will rush weakening if weakening is, required that game, and he'll rush it before anything else.
He gets it before boots are done.
Yeah.
Well, talk about his boots as well. He went reinforced Greaves this game, which is a tankier option. Normally we see Talaria coming out here. Is that because he realizes he's going to be a big frontline for the team all game?
There's a lot of spot CC, right? It's not a ton of all in your face.
That's true.
But it is all. Everyone has a CC, right?
Yep.
So there are value in those boots right now.
Definitely, especially if you're going to be on the front line all the time, taunting into the targets, and you're going to have to peel quite a lot too, yeah.
So we're going to see, it looks like Fatalis be the second item here. Like I said, doesn't really love the Titan's Bane. This is super smart. He's going to be able to apply the stacks from the Executioner up really fast, making him a little bit more valuable in team fights. With that, Divios has to be very careful about when he's using that Scourge. Weaken takes to the sky immediately and will be able to deter this rather poignant gank. I really like the way that Gars just walked in there. Didn't waste the ultimate.
I agree.
Wants to save it. So he comes in, just throws some damage out. Weaken being quick on the trigger, though, out of there.
What I'd like to see from Dagars now, though, is because he knows Thanatos' ultimate is in cooldown, and we know Thanatos is very good against the Thor, he's looking for Dagars to go for a gank now that Thanatos can't follow it up. I mean, would you be looking like mid lane for that, potentially?
You're always looking around.
You're always looking everywhere, basically, yeah.
But I actually do love what Gars did there. When you can get something off and not use your ult, you are at such a big map advantage.
Especially when, like we said, Thanatos, everyone says Thanatos is a good counter to Thor because you can follow him through the air, hover until he lands, and then dunk him back down.
So again, obviously we're spending a lot of time watching the solo lane. Divios trying to get back here. Remember, his cooldown on his teleport is over 2 minutes. He will have to walk back to lane. This is important because Cyclone will be able to clear this wave and likely pick up the level 2 Fatalis, giving him extra attack speed, of course, which is one of her probably the most important stat on the character.
For 10 minutes in, we're even in goal, pretty even in experience as well at this stage. I mean, we're starting to already start developing to the team fight meta now, where we start to see about this time where the mid harpies are under threat.
Kiki.
We can see a fight.
Eonic is dead to rights here if they could follow up. You see Boosh very low as well. Weaken kind of getting baited
Eonic's
here.
dead.
Incon's coming in, petrified to the back, stone statue. Gars should have 3 here, only hits 2, but it'll be a double kill. Where is Kali? Cyclone Spin comes in a little bit late, looking for the stun.
Dead.
Oh, he missed the incense. This should be a 3 for 2 in favor of Team SoloMid.
Good dash away from Incon as well, though, but a great cleanup from TSM. It almost felt like AFK were the ones that were in prime position for that, but Dagars just turned it around.
Gars is the target, by the way.
Gars turned it around, and they put a lot into killing Eonic. And, he didn't find the best ult, but they did shove a lot into killing him, and a lot of their cooldowns were down. They got poked out for it.
They did get poked out for it. Cyclone's rotation, though, there, DM, didn't really pay off for him at all. I mean, he let Kiki buy a second, but it wasn't enough.
Honestly, Kiki had a perfect ult here. The problem was that too many people on AFK stacked up against Gars. Gars maybe has had a little bit of trouble with his ultimates in the past couple months, but when you put that much in one place, nobody's going to miss it. Gars, of course, known as one of the best Thor players in the entire world. The light bulb went off absolutely destroyed the team fight, instantly gaining 2 and turning what looked like a disaster into their favor.
Well, based off that as well, TSM do take down that middle tower as well. Just open up the map a little bit more. You can see Devios as we were tuning in there over in that solo lane, forcing Cyclone back to base, delaying the call back, and now he's going to get another wave of pressure into that tower that we're going to see Cyclone lose more experience and gold from.
That's right. Incon rotates over to try to hold some of the experience. As we take a look at the graphs, you see a sharp spike right down. TSM with a beautiful team fight spells a lead of about 1,300 gold and it's 700 experience, although the experience is...
And like DM said, Incon rotates over there. It's a sign of a great support when they realize there's experience in the map that no one's going to get. You have to get for that experience.
Yeah, well, otherwise it just goes straight to waste, and it's better on you.
By the way, huge sentries coming out. You see the sentry placed right next to Gars in the jungle there. They just cleaned up the sentry placed by AFK, so that's going to be 50 gold added to Team SoloMid and 135 gold wasted from AFK.
Book of Tough being worked on by the Boosh as well. Here's pretty much been a standard build we've seen coming out of these. Blinking for me on it. So Incon though, looking for Gars, forces the beat and the hammer away as the mid-hoppies do spawn.
You know, I was watching some of the AFK scrims, and this is something that Incon tends to do. He blinked in there and went for the pull on the confound, but honestly, no one was there to follow it up. He's kind of gung-ho about, I see a taunt, I'm going to go for it.
I think that's what a lot of us supports do. I think I was talking to Raw yesterday during the conversation. He was like, sometimes you do that on a support, just see, I'm going to go and see if I can get beads, guys. And sometimes it works out.
Absolutely.
He got
popping beads, especially when you have Athena, it's pretty. You can do it consistently, and if you have the opportunity, you should probably take that trade every time.
Well, he did. I mean, he got a 90-second beats. It is level 3. Gars 203 right now is probably the target they're looking for the most. And remember, that is Kali's target.
Right, Hoppy's due to spawn soon, but look at this. TSM feeling themselves going to go for this Gold Fury start. Incon and Allied in the area. Allied, though, being zoned away by Gars for the time being, but Incon is here.
Allied's also here. Remember, Petrify forces and absolutely forces it. Weekend's guaranteed a kill here. No, not yet.
The heal from the Wisp saved him as Boo secured the kill. And then with the return shot, the Gars dugs down. Great Petrify from Allied, though. Almost saved his teammate.
All right, so the target has changed to one of the remaining 3. Cyclone's going to be looking for that person specifically. Given the fact that he's walking away from Divios, it's unlikely that it's going to be him. Apollo in the sky, chasing down Allied. Allied one hit, unable to juke. Great use of audacity. Snoopy finds another kill.
Snoopy's having a great land so far. Every single time he's been in a great position.
Look at this. Incon's ultimate is still up. This is still a 2v3, and Snoopy's very low.
Cyclone has ultimate as well, so he's not scared of this engagement. There's the ultimate being channeled in by Incon now. Actually dropped the tree down there as well, which is not often you see that. It reduces protections. I'll be a bit risky about that one, but here we go.
For Snoops. He's got some damage on him. The move's going to be used. We're going to see the beads used as well. He still has his ultimate, trying to be a little cheeky here with the waiting. He's looking at Boosh. I think we found the target. Aegis is going to be perfect. Divio's going to find the kill.
Trying to hang on there, looking for the leap. Use the lash there just to try and sustain himself, because a lot of people don't remember the lash, actually, when he's hit a target, you get lifesteal off that as well as you chunk it down.
That's right. At this stage, it's 25% lifesteal, but with Divios picking that back up, the target will switch back to D, and that's going to allow them to take the Gold Fury either way. It seems Kiki doesn't have his ultimate up, and thus no space protection.
No one does. I mean, they're looking at it, but I don't think there's going to be any save, although we've seen some crazy plays around the Gold Furies. Once again, some damage onto the Gars, forcing the beads again, but it looks like TSM, they should be able to secure this Gold Fury.
Yeah, it's very low. TSM's got it there. Beautiful play. 1,500 gold. No, wait. No, it's not.
Oh, Thanatos, though, coming in. Weekend did manage to find the Cypher. Now if he can find the dunk. No, he cannot. Denied, says Devios. I'll leap away as the Gars re-engages.
Oh, another huge stun. Why are they not paying attention to Allied? The crypts are going to be emptied. Onyx going to get picked up. They could pressure into this tier 1, but it looks like Incon's going to choose the better of it and back the rest of them pushing right in. This is going to be a 1v3.
It's a good fight for AFK, but they just lost the Gold Fury. The tower in Midlane already went down as well, Jeff, so they're just trading back what they lost earlier.
They're trading back what they lost earlier, but I really want to point out that Allied's ults have been fantastic this whole game, time and time again.
As much as I want to give Allied credit for this is less about Allied. Okay. I mean, his positioning is perfect. The ults have been placed perfectly, but why isn't TSM turning around?
I mean, she's beautiful.
To be fair, though, right, at this stage of the game, are you more afraid of the Medusa, the Kali, the Thanatos, or the Outwash? Or the Incon coming in to taunt you all into a mall? Like, those guys of TSM have to deal with all those multiple threats, and then they're like, oh, damn, I forgot to turn around for the Allied ult. You know, it's so many things to deal with.
Well, Divios 17 right now. Iqbal online, Frostbound Hummer coming up next. This is going to put him in a position to counter Kali directly. If Cyclone Spin can keep his beads online, he'll be able to put himself in a position where he can bait bait out the disarm and try to reapply. Remember, Divios is his target, and it's very important they find it. For some reason, we don't have a weakening curse on the side of TSM. For that, we should be looking at Divios for it.
Divios now.
But he's already got teleport. He needs beads.
Potentially, yeah, he's going to have to look for beads at some point in this game. I mean, I love his build, though, because he can actually directly counter 3 gods in this game. Thanatos, obviously physical, as well as Medusa, as well as Kali. He set himself up for the late game.
Yeah, one of the great parts about having a warrior, specifically Bologna, out of the solo is her job is to stop auto attacks.
Yeah.
And
That's
he's building to make his job easier.
That's what 2.5 of these gods do.
But remember, there's going to be a Frostbound Hammer built, and we have 2 Ancient Blades on the board as well. Witchblade actually does get debuffed by Frostbound Hammer on the same side. Iana going for the blink will find only
but look who's got up. Weekend's trying to force them back by taking to the sky himself.
Can't do it. Oh
he's
my
going
God,
to go
he went in.
Will he find the scythe? No, he
He's
will
gonna
not. Now
die
he's going to
for
get
this.
walled off. There's no backup, though. Boost does not find the hammer, but can Degars rather?
Oh, Gars doesn't find it. We can still probably going to go down here. Athena ult wasted as well. Kiki's Crypts not going to do enough as Snoopy, wow, circling the drain there as he funnels down looking for Allied. Not going to find it. Kiki able to escape. Still, they find one. Weekend's initiation wasn't strong enough.
I mean, I don't think Weekend had to initiate that.
I actually was going to bring that up. I love the ult from Weekend. I don't think
Great
he had
defensive
it going.
work. Oh, we've got to fight in the actual. Still
Cyclone
going on
needs that
Cyclone.
kill. He didn't get it.
Nope.
Ally took it.
He did manage to take that one away. Did Allied once again as the wall comes out from Degars. Incon trying to zone out. There's the target. It's on Ionic, but once again, Kiki this time going to bring that one down. The chase is onto Apollo, who is very low on mana.
That's right. He has no escape here. There's a possibility he could get this off, but a beautiful double stun coming out from TSM. Incon, though, still finding the kill. This winds up being a pretty big win for TSM.
Incon's still chasing this one now. I'm not sure if he's got Blink available soon. Or that preemptive strike was just used. I'm not so sure.
They're jumping for it. Cyclone's been chasing this down. He's going for Gars. No, he's not going to find it. But we do know that either Gars or Boosh, once again, is the target.
Is it the second again? Incon trying to stop the delay back here. If he can find the reach, that would force it to back anyway. But Degars going to back away. Tier 1 tower will fall down in the mid lane. Mid Harp, he's up soon too.
You know, I think you nailed it there. The threat of the reach forced him to run back slower. And they got 2 towers there. That's 1,000 gold. Let's go back to the graphs.
Back on the graphs, you can see the swing. Now AFK with a lead in experience, only 1,000. However, gold, still 2,000 in their favor. I mean, Jeff, as it stands right now on this map, I mean, who are you favoring so far? It's close.
So it is very close. I'm still favoring TSM slightly just because Devios' build, but
Yeah.
Kali's, it's getting later and later and later and later.
By the way, they didn't go Witchblade at all. I thought one of them would do it. They both go into Wingblade, and I love this. Adventurer's Blade online for both. Now remember, this is cooldown reduction, movement speed, slow immunity, health, and attack speed. Massive stat gains.
Massive stat gains for the whole team as well, because it's going to help them out just to be able to box against them for the most part.
Winged Blade is far and away one of the best items in this game, and especially when you're against an Alposh, at some point in the fight, you're going to be slowed. You're always going to get something out of this
Right,
item.
plus they have Heavenly Agility, which means they should be able to counter the Crypts.
Yeah.
At this point, Kiki should be looking to change his plan up. They're not looking for initiations anymore. They're looking for counter initiations. They're going to use this as a deterrent, kind of giving the field back to them, allowing Cyclone Spin to come in later. What we're going to look for is Kiki is going to wait a long time in these Crypts. If he uses it early, before the Heavenly Agility is popped, expect TSM with big counter initiates, and they're going to take the fight.
Well, the Gold Fury is just spawning, and you can see both teams in a sort of position to deal with this one as well. War coverage will be important. Hopefully we get a listening soon with either of these two teams and see exactly how they're going to play this Gold Fury out.
Yeah, it's getting to the point of critical mass here for both teams. This Gold Fury is very important. At this point, it's 1,500 gold on the line. I know I said it last time. That was just kind of like maybe a mistake from the last patch.
Incon going to find the blink and put the pressure onto Snoopy.
Snoopy's
A lot
done.
of damage, but
He's
he dashes into where Allied was. And after a reach and Incon's speciality, the Gold Fury, they're under threat, and Weak is dead. No Aegis!
Beautiful. Aegis. Incon's going to pull the Gold Fury. Weaken's still alive. Is he going to sacrifice? No, he's going to go to the back line here, and it looks like escape. Allied this time not going to find the Petrify. Gar's looking for a target here. Not going to find anything. He's going to go back. Incon's going to avoid it, and Gold Fury's looking pretty free.
We should be able to listen in, hopefully, to AFK Gaming now and listen to themselves as they set up for this Gold Fury.
They have Op Watch and Kali on.
Watch for taunt. I can't really get taunt.
They're just keep resetting. We're wasting time. Who's up in 10 with ulti?
Yeah. Just tell me if they pull.
Just what?
Can we maybe bait a fight? Like, Snoopy's up. Yeah.
I'm ulting. I got
I'm
two.
up in 5. I'll have Heavenly when I
That's
land
Op
as
Watch
well.
roll. That's Op Watch roll.
Up in the air. Kali's on
One
guards.
Allied. Look at
Kali.
Nice
Kali.
shot.
I need
Allied.
I'm on the way. Boosh, I'm coming to you. Boosh, I'm coming to you. Boosh, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
Help backline.
Oh my god.
We're killing everyone.
Alright, yeah, that's fine. Not backline, not
I
backline.
actually auto attacked.
He jumped over the wall.
Can we do gold? Can we do gold?
Yeah, do gold, do
You
gold.
can stop him from backing. Yeah. He's like here. Just no
fuck him.
jump.
Okay, I'm coming. Stay on it,
This is
Divios.
ult.
Can you dash?
Nice.
Oh,
I didn't
nice,
have dash.
nice, nice.
Dang, that was close.
We need to look for.
He's like right ahead. I just want
Athena.
someone to tank it so I can.
Can you go look for him? Yeah. Can you go look for him?
Back around, careful.
All right, you heard TSM run through that beautiful play. I really like the way that Snoopy completely countered the ult by waiting to Mez at the end. But look at Incon, so greedy. He's looking for the confound. Looking
He could
for
find this.
I think he,
Incon,
they see
master
him.
of steals.
They see
Can he
him.
find it this time round? Weakening curses use. Mez from Snoopy, though. And Snoopy still tanking the Gold Fury here, though. Will they find the kill in time? They will.
That was really good play from Incon, but Ionic was very smart to spot that out. I don't know if they knew the whole time. It didn't look like he stepped into a ward. I'm not even sure how he saw that, but it was a really good play.
I mean, the TSM as well, we listened to their comms there. They seem very, very relaxed in that situation. I mean, a little bit worried about Carly, though, but they said, we're winning the fight.
What I loved about TSM is they never stopped talking, and really what stood out to me there was Snoopy saying, I'm up in 5, I have my ult, I have my heavens, I'm coming in, and he was just very, this is what I want, or this is what I'm doing in the fight, and it was very concise.
You know, information, that's why we buy wards, right? Information is the #1 way to win a Smite game. But with this, if you're communicative, right, it's better than wards. It tells you so much information, like, okay, if I see on my map that Apollo's not here, I'm trying to fight considering Apollo's not there.
Someone that is here is Cyclone Spin, and Incon's about to join him. Devios being 3-manned at the moment, but re-engaged with the Eagles rally. Is Weekend going to come? Is he watching for the reinitiation? Nope, they're going to commit for Devios before anyone could arrive.
Now, Cyclone Spin, remember, did go down to Apollo. Apollo's going to put himself right in the thick of things. Cyclone Spin, of course, still has his ult as well. They're going to look for Snoopy here. Weekend already falling. That's a 1-for-1.
Weekend does fall, but now Incon is here on the front line as Cyclone goes in, looking for damage onto Ionic as the crypts have been emptied across this whole fight. Kiki has to back away as Cyclone's still chunking, but he's very low.
He's got
Full
it.
heal.
Oh my god, I thought it was Snoopy. Apparently Ionic got the kill. Snoopy is now the target. Cyclone's going to go real deep for this one. He's actually going to bait out. Doesn't have his stun. Going to look for Boosh. Walks out of it. Needs one hit on Snoopy. No, it gets stolen away, and it will be Gars, but they still find a massive win. Deicide. AFK did not control Kali, Incon, or Allied in that fight, and thus big win.
Not sure if they can get the tier 2 tower in right here off the back of that, because there's only 3 minions in this wave. Bit of jungle available, though. Would you risk over the tier 2 here with Incon there?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can get it. I can
Teleport.
They can
Enough?
definitely get it.
Teleport.
Good shout. Will he teleport in is the question.
He's got
Devios
2
up
seconds.
right now.
Yeah, he's coming for it. He's got to go for it. Is he going to get there in time is the question. There he comes, but there's no tower to protect him.
I'm surprised I let back to way there. I guess they're worried about the whole reinitiation of the team. Devios going to continue the chase onto Incon. Heavy hammer completed, so those slows are going to start hitting. Eagles rally on Allied's face.
He's trying for it. I don't think Devios is going to have this. I love the fact that he baited out the kill to get the Sentry Ward. That's such good play. Devios saying, oh my god, look how scary I am. And then right in the thick of things, as they turn their backs, he gets the ward.
But he's chasing them away so they can try and potentially go for some sort of play here as well. Just make sure they can't just back lazy.
Really what I love, like you said, he pushed him out, and what that's going to allow TSM to do is, you see Ionic and Gars coming up here, they can get position back for wards.
Well, talk about because now Devios overextended, no Eagles rally available, and there's a 4-man army here, no one in position to defend, but what is the rest of TSM doing? They're on the Fire Giant, DM.
Incon blinks in, he's going to recognize that the Fire Giant's still full. He's likely to fall here. Weekend trying to save in the back line. Incon very, very low. Wait for that to pop up on the screen as we look at Weekend. Aegis will save him for now, but he will fall. Boosh, very low. Cyclone Spin finds the heal, but he's tanking the Fire Giant. He turns his sights. He's going to have to get out of here.
Falls up, though. Dagaz is going to come down the backside looking for Allied. The double tap connects, and Snoopy with the in-hand to secure it. Kiki is going to fall down too, and Cyclone, well, he's just going to back.
I don't know if they're going to have enough time. Incon still alive here. Somehow was able to get out of that. He's going to try to book it. They have Snoopy up, though. That's all they really need. He's tanking up well. Gars hasn't taken too much damage.
They can't get there in time.
I don't know, man.
I don't think they can get there in time. They're still going to be able to bring this one down as long as they juke it well enough. He had to use the moves because he had to reset as well. That means that Dagaz is getting lower. And here comes Incon. Can Incon find the play here? They're turning their attention to him. He's going to get a double kill as Cyclone is here too.
That's what I'm talking about right there. He gets in for the confound, pulls him right into the double lava pool because they didn't stack the Fire Giant correctly. Cyclone Spin dodges. Cyclone Spin forces him out. Cyclone Spin throws in the lash. He's going to turn for the target. There's nowhere for him to run. He's looking for it. Shield of the Underworld has been popped. Lash comes through. Full heal. Fire Giant still there. Fire Giant in favor of AFK. The turnaround is real.
Turnaround is real, but how many members are alive? 4 members at the moment. Get the Fire Giant. Only Allied without it in that engagement. And what a play play from Incon.
What a beautiful taunt. That is one of the best plays I think I've seen.
It's all
from
about the
Athena.
patience, Jeff.
Yes.
It wasn't really patient. It's like he got there as soon as he got there, he taunted. Like, it wasn't patient.
Well, no, he waited for Ionic. The lava pools came up, and he just sucked him right into it.
Cyclone coming into that was the biggest issue there, because Cyclone made that fight turn around as well. Take into account Fire Giant and Golf, you don't hard reset anymore. Back to full HP have dropped. So it was slowly regenerating. Incon and Cyclone had the presence of mind to keep it aggroed.
And once, Cyclone forced away the abilities and the kit coming out from guards, he had nowhere to run. Not really sure about the Shield of the Underworld here. It doesn't seem to be having the same level of benefit that you would expect. But Jeff, really lead us through that one more time. Incon, one of the best support plays we've seen in a long time.
He comes in and he does exactly what he needs to do. He found the taunt he needed. He got him under the pools. Cyclone came out in, and that was it.
I think the big thing to note about that whole fight, though, is what we saw was Devio zoned out the team and got TSM the opportunity to do the Fire Giant. It was a great play from him individually, but the initiation from AFK made it that they ended up losing the fight, but 2 members got out alive. Issue was, I think, is that they didn't have as much damage as they thought, and Snoopy thought they were going to burst it harder, had to use the moves to reposition himself from getting hit by the lava, and it just changed that Fire Giant completely.
All right, so we're going to see the Gold Fury pulled here. I don't know if TSM is going to make a stand. While we're looking, let's take a look at the graphs. You're going to see a 1,500 gold spike. This is going to give the advantage back to AFK Gaming in gold. They already own the experience. They've got the Fire Giant, and they're going to be looking to really put pressure on these towers.
But that's the first time in the game we've actually seen the gold league go into AFK's favor, even by a small margin, really. Incon going to come around the back, find Devios. Devios not going to panic, though. He'll eat that taunt and then just continue. Put the pressure on with that heavy hammer. Actually, Incon's in trouble.
Devios can't panic. He doesn't have beats.
Well, there's nothing he can do, I guess. He's just like, well, okay, I'm just going to eat the taunt.
So they're going to push in here. Ionic is the guy to keep your eyes on here. He's looking for that big blink. Oh, no, but he can't blink. Oh, wow. Incon right to the back line. Decent damage. Allied actually finds Ionic looking once again.
Finds him looking because of the taunt hitting on the backside. The tower does go down. They can continue the siege here, though. Fire Gianted up. They're all still full health at the moment. And the boys of SoloMid are really backing away here.
Well, you take a look at Bush. He's out of bombs here.
What are you going to do in that situation? Ionic, does Ionic still have his ultimate available? He does, but they're just not feeling it right now. They're just going to back away for the time being. They're going to give up the towers and lose some gold.
It's really, it's so hard to fight a team that's ahead with Fire. You can't make your final stand on a tier 2. It's just, it's not strong enough.
That's kind of like the poke phase, right? You try to do as much damage as possible. The issue is that Bush was kind of panicking there. He threw out a lot of the bombs very quickly just to deter Incontinentia, and it wasn't enough.
Wall connection from Degars, but he's going to back away from that. As once again, Incon in the mid lane, got to find the taunt. This time onto Snoopy, but the damage is actually real on Incon, and he may go down here.
That Wrath of Terror was a really big swing right there. Not only finding a huge big... Oh my god, is that Kali's target? Divios already very low, doesn't want to give it a Cyclone spin, but Cyclone was full. They wind up trading very, very well there. Divios for Incon winds up being an even trade in my opinion.
Did you see the backup from AFK there? Because Degars was in the air. They knew the reinitiation opportunity was available. They backed away from it. Athena still has ultimate. Cyclone still has ultimate. And once again, they can begin the siege.
Now again, we don't know who the target is. Expect Cyclone to try to rush that down. He has gone into that Titan's Bane and Shinsai, so he has the major penetration. He has 87% penetration right now to his target.
We can keep swinging around the back here, just causing issues.
Something I do want to bring up here is, while Incon does have his ult, it's very hard for AFK to siege right now. They lost their front line. That's who was starting all of these, or most of these fights. So that's why you see them not going for that tower.
Exactly. So 5 seconds in now until we'll see Incon respawn. But the boys of AFK got to return to the jungle for the time being. Can't find that tier 2 tower. As you said, he was the real frontline engage for him. And everybody else was peel off that basically and just reinitiate afterwards.
Well, Fire Giant coming up in 49 seconds. With that, they're going to clear up the jungle, back and spend gold. Obviously, let's take a look here, Clumsy, at gold in hand.
Gold in hand, as you can see on your screen. 2,700, 2,800 exactly now for Kiki in this mid lane. Already has Spear finished as well. We're going to be seeing Rodder Tahuti here. Gemini of Isolation. Where do you think this is going?
He's got the tiny trinket online. This could be a Pythagoras piece, perhaps. More likely a Bancroft's Talon. Going into a new item entirely would be strong, but...
There you go, Chronos Pendant.
Chronos Pendant and finish the combat blink. Exactly.
And on top of that Cyclone Spin, you did see have 1,800 gold in hand as well. I believe he just went... No, he's not gone back yet, but he's already got Titan's Bane online. Next time, we're looking for some sort of defense item here, DM?
It's possible. Honestly, I'm still looking at Kiki, right? Remember, lifesteal, what you're going to get out of the tiny trinket, is such a big deal in Opwash because Empty the Crypts, every single one of those ghosts is single target, which means it's 12% for Bancrofts, on lifesteal or 25% from Pythagorean's piece.
Fire
Serious
Giant
lifesteal.
has spawned once again. The boys are setting themselves up for this one. Let's see if we can have a listening once again to their communications and find out how these plays are going on.
They have a ward right. They have a ward right here.
I got poked out a little bit.
Can you counter?
I need a back. I need a back. There's nothing in the heal.
They have a ward here.
Be careful.
Right.
I'm backing.
Right on top
I'm
of me.
backing. I'm backing.
Okay, okay, wait for weak. I'm pushing right.
No,
Push it right.
I'm here,
Careful, careful.
Bologna's mid. Bologna's
I
right.
need
should
to
be
heal
okay.
up right.
Bologna's in front of me.
Yeah, I'm fine. They're all around the gold. They're countering again.
You get a good
we're
taunt. I'm here. That's his hammer.
Bologna's still in front of me.
Okay, no, sure. Can we go
in front of me
Bologna?
still.
Yeah.
We can't make Bologna our main target.
Don't commit too hard.
can do
That's a
it.
shield. That's a shield.
Okay,
That's a
that's
shield. That's a shield.
They're looking
going
for a
in.
re-engage. I got
Careful,
Bologna from the bottom from the side. Careful.
Dot on two.
I'm good.
I'm really low.
Careful.
He's really
Careful.
low.
Careful.
The second
Alex,
one,
look
yeah,
at it.
that's
Look
a
at it.
bad.
Back down. Watch fire.
My heavenly's down.
We can hold them
We
on.
can call it. They're gonna initiate here. So
We can. Cyclone's low. Watch out.
They have a ward right here. They're starting it. They're starting.
Okay.
They are starting it. It's a half.
Bologna's at half.
That's
Okay,
happening.
coming.
Careful,
we
he's
gotta
gonna go
go
key. He's gonna go on key.
I'm at link.
I can ult.
He's in combat. He's in combat.
Watch out.
It's a half. It's a half.
Tall on the other
Careful.
side.
Go on, Apollo,
Go two.
go
Go
on,
two.
Apollo.
Doors there. Doors here.
I'm on Sylvanas.
I'm ulti.
All the bombs
Yeah,
are down. All the bombs are down.
Thor in the back.
Thor really
Thor
low.
hammer
Thor
down.
really
Thor
low.
in the back.
I'm out.
Corpses are back.
Yeah, go.
They're really low.
They're creeping. They're creeping.
Nice.
But
Pull his
Apollo
dash
down.
down.
Apollo. He's ulting. Kill.
Nice, nice. On the left. Kiki.
She's
Help.
low.
Kill Devios. Fuck this guy.
Kill Dibios. I'm looking at mid. Somebody get it to mid with me.
Nice.
I'm here. I got Agni.
I'm
Nice.
coming. I'm waiting for the dash.
Coming over.
Dash. Right?
That's his beat.
Nice shot.
Nice.
Yeah. I agree.
Push. Oh shit, I'm gonna die.
Careful out.
Oh, it's
holy shit.
my gosh.
Oh my god. Careful. Let him lifesteal.
Get Phoenix for sure, and then probably
Let him
fire.
lifesteal.
Phoenix the
Can they actually end here? They called for the end after that whole engagement, DM. I mean, it went really well for them. They're all still alive.
Well, Cyclone Spin's target is Ionic now, which means he's getting 87% penetration. He can tear through that tank build like a hot knife through butter.
Well, they're not going to actually end. The call is going to be to default back. I think that's the right call, though, Jeff.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you're at LAN, if you think it's a risky end, you know,
Play
it's
it
okay.
safe.
Play it safe.
Play it safe and go for the option. The Fire Giant is going to be that option for them. But during that whole engagement there, you could just hear the comms from them, DM. And it was like they were all over the place, but very, very clear on where their targets were going to be.
What
So-
I loved was
please.
that they respected Thor the whole time.
There's the target, Cyclone in the backline. You're going to see Gars
Guys,
take to the sky here. Incon in a little bit of trouble. Weekend trying to answer back. Crypt's going to be used. Incon's out and safe. Fire Giant gets taken by AFK. They're going to find 2 kills in response, but you got to love the attempt by Team SoloMid.
Had to make the play there. There was no other option for them. Worst case scenario, they die and they just reset because the boys of AFK probably going to back after that anyway.
So we have a Brawler's Beat Stick coming out here on Kali. No attack speed for the chin size, which is a little bit strange, but he has now, what's that, 18% or 18 penetration flat from Executioner, 20 flat.
Is that? Do you reckon he's actually picked up that Brawler's Beat Stick just to help out with Thanatos' executes because of Wisps? Because we've seen once or twice where Weekend's gone up, he's been in execute range, but the Wisps have actually healed them back up just enough. He's been a team player?
It's Cyclone, so probably not.
That's why I was like, is he being a team player or should he be a player?
It has a lot of pen on it.
It does have a lot of penetration on it.
I mean, he's now going to be ripping them down, you know, a total of 38 penetration and then 87% pen on the target after that.
And it felt during that whole engagement, the Fire Giant, hang on a second, Incon does taunt in once again, forcing the beads out.
Oh my god, he's still going.
One more time from the Boosh. Incon just been a front line for his team. Left-hand side, Weekend's going to swing round as Devios actually back in the mid lane now, trying to reposition himself to defend the left-hand Phoenix.
You know, I'm looking at Gars here. Gars is the playmaker for me right here. Of course, Ionic's going to blink in and get the Wrath of Terror. That's what he's looking for. Gars has been the second initiation for this team, and they need him to be on point. Snoopy taking a lot of damage will force this Phoenix, but there's the Gars. That's what we're looking for. Beautiful Wrath of Terror. Allied already down. In the back line, they'll trade one for one. Snoopy dodges, but still goes down to Cyclone Spin.
He does go down to the Cyclone Spin. Boosh is going to ages, but how long is he going to survive? Because Cyclone is on his backside, and it's going to be Kiki who finds that kill. Finally, Devios will probably fall, trying to find the Eagles rally onto Cyclone, but will not. And the dot damage will bring him down as the Phoenix falls. The side of TSM, they're going to go down 1-0.
Not only are they going to find the Deicide, not only the Phoenix, not only the Titan, but Kiki did it with a boy character.
That's the whole story of the game. He did it with a boy character. Typical DM.
honestly, amazing comeback from AFK. The Dia side was unreal. Allied playing lights out, straight up. I mean, Jeff talked about it before. Despite the fact that TSM probably should have been turning around there, the fact that he kept positioning the ults to get lucky, that's the point.
I love the play from Allied. All game, he just had fantastic ults and very good position.
To be fair, the only bad position I saw him in was right at that last Phoenix there where he died. That was the only bad position I saw him in the whole game. Petrifies were on point. Incon had a fantastic game throughout the whole series, throughout the whole game. I didn't see one bad mistake there from Incon. Constantly going in, taunting, finding beats for free early on, and then 2-3-man taunts, and then the Fire Giant.
You know, one of the first things I wrote down, picks and bans phase, they forced that the Bologna Ymir pick that we saw so favored in EU, and then Ymir completely got ignored. They grab Athena out of nowhere. The Athena wound up carrying the game for a long time. Bologna goes through, and they deal with it.
They dealt with it well as well. I mean, even the one thing I did like the most was the Fenrir ban to get away the Ratatosk ban, which set them up for their game plan. They didn't want to have to deal with the Rat, and if they got left up, well, they'll take it and not have to deal with the counter ban.
Honestly, you know, you said before the game started, we chose first pick. We're going to throw him for a loop.
And they threw him for a loop indeed, because that's why we see AFK did win this one 1-0. It was great work from them, though. Obviously, as we look back through the whole game, is there like a standout play for you, Jeff?
It really was when Incon pulled them into the lava pits.
The lava pool taunt. Oh my God.
It was love. It was amazing.
Praise be.
Praise be indeed. So it's game one over with. Game two kind of be coming up soon. But what we need to do first of all is actually ask the analysts exactly how that all played out from their point of view over at the analyst desk with Adonis and F.
Welcome back, guys. What a crazy game. It was not one-sided, although AFK did manage to take it. A lot of back and forth coming out from those teams, though.
I mean, that's what's fun here at the highest level of competition of the Summer Finals presented by Curse Voice. We've got so many back and forth games, not just here, but also on the European side of things. But getting to the North American, AFK versus TSM, this was a battle all the way from the picks and bans.
Yeah, I mean, we take a look at it. Myself and Aurora actually mentioned it early on that second pick kind of got pigeonholed into these forced bans of Ao Kuang and Ratatosker. And I also think that AFK really made the key there in banning away Fenrir, which is kind of Ratatosker's counter. So that they forced it. They're like, TSM, you have to ban Ratatosker here.
I mean, one of my favorite things here is having the player cams. I think that shows so much. And the thing that I took away the most during these picks and bans was the look on everyone's faces on each team. I feel like the Kali choice by Cyclone Spin and AFK was made from the get-go. So when you see all the other bans, TSM banned Ratatasker, Ao Kuang, and Odin, AFK were laughing, they were happy. The Kali choice was locked in. I can't do the Divio's face. He was so upset. I don't think the TSM was ready for this Kali pick, and Cyclone Spin, I think AFK had it planned from the get-go, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the Thanatos after the Thor.
Yeah, I mean, the Thanatos was clearly a counter pick. The Kali was very interesting because they did pick it into a Bologna who traditionally should be countering that lane, but we saw Weekend actually focus that lane early. How important was that Weekend actually came and really got first blood for Cyclone Spin to help him out?
I mean, that was really big. It was 2 minutes in, and it just so happened that the Bologna was the Kali target. So just luck of the draw.
You got that 20% chance, and it worked out.
Exactly. Luck of the draw was on AFK's side this time around, and it went really well. And we said it during the European matches. A Kali with an early first blood. I mean, you get first blood gold on top of the target gold. I mean, what else can you ask for when you're playing Kalima?
Yeah, I mean, he was player of the game as well. I believe he ended the game with 12 kills or something absurd like that. I mean, he was all over, and it was a little bit different because there was a couple times where he felt a little bit pressured, but Cyclone Spin, myself and Aurora talked about it at the pregame show, and everyone knows, right? The patience he exerts to choose when to go in, to let his team kind of start losing the fight so he can come in and clean up.
Exactly, and piggybacking off of what you said about patience, he's not in Continentia anymore, but
it's
in COD. Fantastic stuff. What I really liked, I think the pivotal moment of that game was 25 minutes in.
Fire Giant.
TSM won the fight. TSM won that fight over Fire Giant. Incon sat there very carefully, very calmly, got the taunt into Fire Giant damage, and the behemoth that was Cyclone Spin. They got the 2 kills. They quickly got the Fire Giant. And that, I mean, they won the game at 33 minutes. The Fire Giant was at 25. It's very easy to see step 1, step 2, step 3. Incon and Cyclone together really turned that game around.
Yeah, I mean, listening into the player comms on AFK, their pick choice, or I'm sorry, not pick choice, but like priority on targets is very important. Always calling to help Kiki when he needs it. You know, the comms were such a big part and are such a big part of all these teams. It's really important to keep upbeat, though.
Of course. I mean, again, going back to the previous set that we listened to, Paradigm, they were down 20,000 gold. They eventually won. Game 1, they were down 20,000 gold, and they were in comms singing, Trix Tank is saying, hey, this is exactly where we want to be, when it's obviously not. That's what's necessary to become one of these champions. AFK, they've done it before. They took home the spring final trophy here in the summer finals. They're looking to do the same thing. So as you said, keeping upbeat, staying that way, and we get to listen to the comms thanks to Kerr's voice. It's really awesome to see this team just jovial.
Yep. One thing I noticed on Team SoloMid's builds were they actually ended up picking up 3 mid-guardian males across the board.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of focus against Cyclone. Do you think that was worth it to have really 3 picks against Cyclone and Allied, who also performed very well?
I actually think it was. Obviously, Team SoloMid didn't take this win home, but mid-guardian male is... you're always going to have the Hunter as a basic attack guy, but when you bring a Kali into the mix, Kali, blink, jump. That's all she really has to stick on you. So the Guardian Male giving you the slow, that sometimes that extra inch is all you really need to get away from Kali. And late game, being alive versus sitting out for 50 seconds can be the difference between winning and losing a game.
That's true. They tried to prioritize their builds around shutting down Cyclone Spin and Allied, but those were really the 2 stars. But it's hard to say they were the 2 stars because all these players played phenomenally, because it was also about Incon. The setup he had talked me through. We saw a ton of petrifies. Even Brandon's like calling out, like, why are they looking? But I mean, they're kind of forced to look when the taunt comes through. Talk to me about how important that was and really how that got them rolling.
Yeah, the Incon taunts were super important. It was the duo lane, I really want to say. Incon did very well. It was interesting. Medusa worked by itself. I was sitting backstage with some of the other commentators and some of the friends and family here, and Medusa ults by 15 minutes. We saw more Medusa ults by Allied by himself than we have throughout the whole tournament. And then as it got later and later, Incon was starting to set up those ults as well. So, and it wasn't just one person. 2, 3 stuns, 2 slows and a stun. That's the power of Medusa. That's the power of Allied. He's the premier team fight hunter, and Medusa's doing great work for him.
Awesome. For those just joining us, we're day 2 of the SPL Summer Finals, powered by Curse Voice. It's game 2 of Team SoloMid versus AFK. AFK took the first one. Let's get into game 2, though. Hindu Man, it's on you, man.